Did you know that according to Wisconsin state law, a brokerage firm and a salesperson owe specific duties to all parties in the transaction? In fact, there's 7 of them. Let's go through them together. I may interchange 1 and A, but you'll get my point, right? Now, the first one is the duty to provide brokerage services to you fairly and honestly. That's common sense, right? I mean, fair and honest. You need to be honest. Number 2 is the duty to exercise reasonable skill and care in providing brokerage services to you. So reasonable skill and care. Common sense again, right? Are you being reasonable and are you having care in your brokerage services? The third point, the duty to provide to you accurate information about market conditions within a reasonable time if you request it, unless disclosure of the information is prohibited by law. So we got to get you information about the market conditions and the areas if you request it in a timely manner. Reasonable again, right? The next one, disclosure of certain material adverse facts about the property in writing unless disclosure of information is prohibited by law. Again, another one of those things that we may not be able to tell you something about it because it's prohibited by law. Number 5, the duty to protect confidentiality unless the law requires it. The firm and its agents will not disclose your confidential information and other confidential information of the other parties. Okay? So if it's considered confidential, you just don't get to know. And that's okay, because it's not going to change the way you're going to proceed, right? 6, the duty to safeguard trust funds and other property the firm or the agent holds. So for instance, if you give us a key, we gotta hold on to it. We gotta know where it is. Trust funds is big though. That's money. It's held in a trust account. Lastly, the duty when negotiating to present contract proposals in an objective, unbiased manner and disclose the advantages and the disadvantages of the proposal. Unbiased, common sense stuff. Here's the advantage, here's the disadvantage. Have you considered each of them? What do you want to do? All right, so the next section is actually going to deal with the firm. And so this is responsibility to clients, and I'm going to read it again. There's 5 points. The firm or one of its agents will provide, at your request, information and advice on real estate matters that affect your transaction unless you release the firm from this duty. So I'm going to give you advice and information that's going to affect the way that you do things, right? Number 2, the firm or one of its agents must provide you with material facts affecting the transaction, not just adverse facts. Common sense again. If the information is going to change the way that you do something, the way that you make a decision, I got to provide it to you. I can't hide it. I got to let you know. Full disclosure. Number 3, the firm and its agents will fulfill the firm's obligation under the agency agreement and fulfill your lawful requests that are within the scope of the agency agreement. So what we put in the listing contract, the buyer agency agreement, we got to do it. That's why there's blanks in there, right? We write things in. We're required to do what we say based upon that contract. And again, right there in that point, within the scope of the agency relationship. So sorry, not going to bring you to dinner on Tuesday night. Number 4, the firm and its agents will negotiate for you unless you release them from that duty. We're going to negotiate on your behalf. And the 5th one, probably what's deemed probably the most important, is the firm and its agents will not place their interests ahead of yours. The firm and its agents will not, unless required by law, give you information or advice to other parties who are not the firm's clients. If giving the information to you, information or advice becomes contrary to your interest. So here's the deal. I can't put my needs ahead of yours. And that's important. So those are the duties required by law.